Strength like no other. Strength like no other. And it reaches to me. You are my strength, God. Strength like no other. Strength like no other. And it reaches to me. In the fullness of your grace, in the power of your name, you lift me up. You lift me up. In the fullness of your grace, in the power of your name, you lift me up. You lift me up. You are my joy. Joy like no other. Joy like no other. And it reaches to me. You are my joy. Joy like no other. Joy like no other, Lord, and it reaches to me. Oh, in the fullness of your grace, in the power of your name, you lift me up. You lift me up. You are my peace, peace like no other, peace like no other, God, and it reaches to me. Come on, reach up there. Let's get it. And with the fullness of your grace, in the power of your name, you lift me up. Come on, reach up there and get it, y'all. You lift me up in the fullness of your grace, in the power of your name. You lift me up. You lift me up. You are my joy. Joy like no other. Joy like no other, God, and it reaches to me, to me, to me. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Wealth Channel. Brother Rick, your gracious host, and I don't know about you, but he is my strength. He is my peace. He is my joy. And it ain't like nobody else. There ain't nobody else that even approachable to how awesome God is. Good morning to you. I hope you're having a beautiful day already. I hope you're already having an awesome day already. I just pray that I'm just jumping in on your awesome day and we could just spend a little awesome time together. Because that's the way the body works. When you meet people and all of you are just looking for a wife, looking for a husband, or considering a husband, considering a wife, looking for a business partner, considering somebody else to form a relationship with, you want to look for people who are already whole. You don't want to look for people that you got to try to complete. I hear people say that. They say, I just appreciate you so much because you really complete me. Well, I want you to know that God makes people complete and then he delivers them to you already complete. Now, notice I didn't say flawless because nobody's flawless. What I am saying is this. You already have joy. You already have peace. You already got a good attitude. You already are ambitious. You're already looking to make it rain. You already got it going on to the break of dawn. It's just now two people get together and you better watch out because it's like Compton and Long Beach together. Now you know you're in trouble. Why? Because it's two people on the same accord, not somebody trying to get somebody to come on board and get on the court. That's not how this real life works. And you waste a lot of time when you do that because you need to. I don't want to deal with people who are incomplete. But I'm not talking about perfect. Ain't nobody perfect. We all mess up. I'm not talking about that. But I'm talking about your general disposition is one of what? Neediness. In other words, I come into this relationship so I can drain you dry because I need you to complete me. I'm like, brother, sister, I ain't Jesus. All right. Jesus is a savior around here, not Brother Ricky, and you ain't my savior either. So I can't come to you for stuff I can't get from nobody but God. Now you listen to me because you too deficient to give me what God got, and I'm too deficient to give you what God got. So it makes no sense for us to be entering into these relationships with one another with a whole bunch of deficiency. Now you dig what I'm saying? Because it ain't gonna work. All you're gonna do is get frustrated and frustrated and frustrated. And if you country, frustrated. Yeah, people say that. I'm like, would you please say the word the way it's written? Man, I just get so frustrated, Rick. I'm like, that ain't even a word. That ain't even, you just made that up. What you talking about? Frustrated ain't no word? No, frustrated ain't no word. Flush stuff down the garbage can. It's frustrated. Do you know the difference between an L and an R? You frustrating me right now, bro, Rick. Just like people talking about Pacific. I'm like, what are you talking about? I just trying to tell him, bro, Rick. He rolling up on me. And he don't even know the Pacifics about everything. I say, he don't know the what? He don't know the Pacifics about everything. I'm like, he don't know the who? I'm telling him he need to speak pacifically on the issue. I'm like, are you talking about an ocean, Doc? No, I said Pacific. No, the word is specific. You just got a problem with an S, partner. How you just gonna make up your own language? See, Rick, that's why I'll come to your station right now, because you be messing around with me specifically. That's the ocean on the West Coast, all right? That is not a word. How dare you be so country? Just make up your own words. Learn a human language. Learn the English language, all right? All right, you speak English up in America, all right? So good morning, Amani. Good morning, Gene. Good morning, Eddie. Good morning, Rashad. Good morning, Content for Days. Good morning, Brother Harold. Good morning, Lavish Party Reynolds. Good morning, Robbie. How you doing? And good morning, Kara Joyce. Good morning. Is here. All right. Okay. Good morning, Valerie. How are you? Good making home memories. Good morning to you. Good morning, Grace. Good morning, Alvin. Good morning, Chosen. Good morning, Asala. Good morning, Katie Will. Good morning to you. And good morning to all of you. Good morning, Joseph. Good morning, Berlin. And let's get right to this lesson today. I want to talk to you today about the lie detector. In other words, how do you detect lies? How do you know when how do you know what somebody is saying to you is game as opposed to legit? How do you know that? All right. You can know by the Bible. It's a Bible way of knowing and a shortcut way of being able to know basically when somebody is trying to pour a pee on your head and tell you it's raining or if they're the real deal Holyfield. It's a way of being able to find that out. And the Bible makes it real easy and simple to be able to do too. All right, so let's get straight to this story in the book of First Kings, excuse me, in chapter 21 of First Kings. And I'm going to teach you the story about these two kings that was getting ready to go fight. And chapter 23, rather. First Kings, chapter 20. First Kings chapter 22. I gotta at least get the scripture right before we start talking about it. Before we start talking about that, let me tell you something about when you hear something, whether you should believe it or not. Okay. So you hear a fact, all right, something that's true. It goes to two places. Either you believe it by faith or you doubt it and you don't believe it. So you say, Brother Ricky, sometimes people say things and I don't have an opinion one way or the other. Well, I stopped by to let you know that that's the first lie you need to detect. Because every time somebody says something, you do have an opinion one way or the other. Hey, listen to me. Hey, Sarita, how you doing, dear? West Palm Beach. I ain't mad at you, Sarita. Go ahead and enjoy your life. All right. So you do have an opinion. We all have opinions. All right. And it's nothing wrong with you voicing your opinion. And because you either believe something or you don't. And for you to try to act like life is neutral, that's why you look at your bank account and you say, man, my bank account looks like a person who believes in neutrality about life, because I'm really just faking myself out. I do have an opinion about this. I just don't want to voice it because I don't want to be wrong. Well, okay. There's a way that you can, a surefire way that you can find out when somebody presents stuff to you, whether it's legit or not. Okay. And when you don't believe something, that's still belief. You really need to understand this, that faith and non-belief are both beliefs. Faith and doubt are still beliefs. It just means that I believe something is going to happen or I believe something ain't going to happen. All right. And there is no neutrality because either you believe it or you don't. And when you can get off of the straddling the fence sort of thing and this maybe type of lifestyle, you can get extremely wealthy. Why? Because now you're actually busting a move instead of sitting around wasting your time. So how do you know when something comes up, whether they're lying or whether they're not? Well, here's a very good way to detect lies. You can find it in the 22nd chapter of First Kings. All right, so let's talk about it. There are two kings and they're getting ready to go out to fight. Well, they end up getting another cat with them. No, it's just two kings in this case. All right. So First Kings chapter 22, it says, and there continued 3 years without war between Syria and Israel. And it came to pass in the third year that Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, came down to the king of Israel. And the king of Israel said unto his servants, know ye that Ramoth Gilead is ours, and we be still and take it not out of the hand of the king of Syria? And he said unto Jehoshaphat, wilt thou go with me to battle to Ramoth Gilead? And Jehoshaphat said to the king of Israel, I am as thou art, my people as thy people, my horses as thy horses. And Jehoshaphat said unto the king of Israel, inquire, I pray thee, at the word of the Lord today. All right, so Jehoshaphat said, yeah, I'm with you, man. He said, but I ain't going nowhere. I'm not going nowhere to fight. Good morning, Dr. Lynch. Tell Mama I said hello. Good morning, Deborah and Daniel. Good morning to you as well. So he said, paper plainness, good morning to you. And no love, good morning to you too. No love, no risk, good morning to you. Reuben, good morning as well. So this is what I love about Jehoshaphat. Jehoshaphat is riding with Ahab. He knows some things about Ahab. He knows that Ahab is, number one, a liar. He knows that, okay? He knows, number two, Ahab can be stroked because liars can be stroked. Oh, yeah. You know, this is how you know whether or not you got a lying spirit on you or not. You let somebody come around you who you know ain't got no juice, but they say stuff to you and make you feel good because liars can be strokeable and they can be placated. Now, you dig what I'm saying? So one way to be able to detect lies is just stop lying yourself. If I stop lying myself, you stop lying yourself, then when people come around us, we can detect lies. We're talking today about the lie detector. All right. And I'm going to prove to you out the Bible that it's your faith that detects whether or not somebody legit or whether they ain't. Because people who operate by faith, we can detect lies. People who operate by sight, they can't detect a lie. Matter of fact, because they be living a lie. And it's hard to detect a lie when you're in the middle of it. It's hard to recognize stuff that you're in the middle of doing. Are you dig what I'm saying? So when somebody come along and they start talking to you, then, you know, it is real easy for them to pour pee on your head and tell you it's raining. So they get ready to go fight. So Jehoshaphat say, hey, man, let's find out what God got to say before we roll up to Ramoth Gilead, because I ain't about getting my head peeled. So Jehoshaphat, he is the king of Judah. Ahab is the king of Israel. Israel always had a tendency to be trifling and move away from God. But the kings of Judah were kings who stuck to the law for the most part. So Jehoshaphat he and Judah is the smaller tribe. Israel got the millions of folks. Judah got a handful of people. But Judah is the tribe that God is paying attention to because these are the descendants of David and they got good sense. They're not worshiping idols and stuff. See, God ain't necessarily in the numbers. So when you start wondering about who telling the truth and who ain't telling the truth, when you see the crowd, they pretty much always lying. All right, because the crowd got a mob mentality, and they pretty much if they start trying to stroke you and stuff, then you know they're lying to you. So Jehoshaphat is unstrokable. You know, he ain't the kind of cat you can just roll up on and just tell him anything. So he said, hey man, let's find out whether we ought to go fight or not. Come on, you down with that? So Ahab, what does he do? Watch what Ahab does. He's about to invite a bunch of liars in to tell him whether or not he should go fight for his life. Man, if I'm getting ready to go fight for my life, the last thing in the world I want around me is some placating liars who about to come in and tell me some stuff to make me feel good, to make sure I get my head peeled. Are you digging what I'm saying? So they show up and watch what they say. This is what they tell him. Now, Ahab, he ain't worth the salt on his back because he's a devil worshiping, Baal worshiping, idol worshiping mod. He's a punk. And on top of all of that, he married to Jezebel, who is a vicious, evil gangster hoe. All right. So he ain't just a little sissy and a punk. He done married a Zidonian. All right. Now, y'all look up the word Zidonian and you guys check out what kind of lifestyle Zidonians had. Passed their kids in the fire, freaky as hell. That ain't so bad if you're married and your wife just freaky with you. Praise God on that. But I'm talking about these Zidonian chicks. They were some gangsters, kind of like the cocaine cowgirl. This is when you think about Jezebel. Think about the woman that came over here and started selling that cocaine, Rashilda. Can't never think of her last name for some reason. But the chick that's on Cocaine Cowboys, the first billionaire drug salesman in America, murdered, had 250 people murdered. Vicious chick, boy, gangster. Sure enough, stomped down, gangster. Shot the first person when she was like 11 or 12 years old. Executed another kid in Colombia. Came down through Colombia, heart tough as nails. Made these little drug dealers up here look like some sissies. Came through town and just kicked and just. This is Jezebel. So Ahab is married to this chick, so he ain't nothing but a figurehead because he do whatever she tell him to do. So he getting ready to go fight. And Jehoshaphat said, man, ain't nobody around here that can tell us what to do. He said, then the king of Israel gathered the prophets together, about 400 men, and said unto them, shall I go up against Ramoth Gilead to battle, or shall I forbear? And they said, go up, for the Lord shall deliver it into the hand of the king. And Jehoshaphat said, is there not here a prophet of the Lord besides, that we might inquire of him? So we're talking today about being able to detect lies. So here's Jehoshaphat, all these cats, 400 dudes that worship Baal. They all get up and say, it's all gravy, Navy. It's all good in the hood. He said, go up there and kick butt and take names, baby. You ain't new here. You grew here. You get out without a frown. You about to go into town and rip it up. So ain't none of this stuff impressing Jehoshaphat because he's looking at their lifestyle. And he like, these marks can't put cheese on a waffle. They don't know nothing about the God of heaven and earth. They sitting around chanting to fake gods. He like, ain't nowhere in the world I'm going to take their word and go up here and take chances on my life like that. He said, I ain't going out like that. He said, ain't it a man of God around here? Nowhere. He like, Ahab, you running a kingdom, man, and you got a kingdom full of poo butt counselors. You got a kingdom full of placating, stroking counselors. You got a kingdom full of marks that can't put cheese on a waffle. You got all of these spiritually dead folk around you. He like, man, we about to go out and fight, man. This ain't no joke. We about to go battle. And my life is on the line right here. I'm not about to take you. He said, I need a second opinion. Are you listening to me? Some of you all, you believe whatever the first thing somebody told you, and you need to be sitting around investigating that mess. All right. You got doctors tell you, hey, you need to take this, you need to take that, you need to take this, you need to take that. And man, you end up being sicker from what they told you to take than you were before they even started giving you all that crap, all the side effects of what they gave you and all of that. And what you, yeah, that's right. Grishilda Blanco, right. Yeah, right on the Black Widow. Yeah, buddy. Gangster chick. So, so when somebody gives you an opinion about something, then if you ain't feeling them, then weigh their opinion out. Now, you dig what I'm saying? Don't just necessarily G for what they talking about. Hey, Joseph, how you doing? Petty, how you doing, baby? So don't G for that. Be like, you know what? I'm gonna weigh out what you said, because people, when they give you fake advice, the first thing they do is get extremely defensive when you say, hey, well, I'm gonna weigh out what you said. I'm gonna let somebody check this out. This is how you know how to detect lies, because the person gets defensive, because nobody should have no problem investigating any information that you give them. Nobody should have any problem. If you're gonna be a so-called counselor, a so-called whatever, you're giving advice to folk, then they ought to be able to check out what you're talking about. Me personally, I'm a wealth coach, so I teach people about money. So if you ever come through my financial IQ challenge, I'm gonna give you about 10 different books to read. Matter of fact, you ain't even got to come through my challenge. Just go back through these videos and you can learn so much about common law and how we operate and how trust operate and all of that. Just read. That's how I got taught. That's how I trained myself. I trained myself how to get rich. You don't learn this stuff in school. Man, I've been in school all my life, and I ain't learned nothing about how no real money is made. Because why? Because they ain't teaching you nothing. Why? Because the person that's talking to you, they ain't even got no money. So how in the world somebody make $40,000 gonna tell you what to do? $50,000. I'm talking about all year long. And your goal is to be a millionaire. You're trying to make $50,000 in an hour. You're trying to make $50,000 in a day. I mean, to make $1 million in a year, that means you need to make what? You need to make at least $100,000 a month, right? Which means that if it's 50 weeks to a year, you need to make at least what? Every $20,000 a week at least, to be able to make $1 million, at least you need to make at least $20,000. But the person that you're talking to, if they don't make nothing but $40,000 all year, then they're not worth listening to. They couldn't possibly know what they're talking about. Why? Else they'd be doing better. If they knew better, they'd be doing better. So I'm amazed at how we just listen to what anybody says and then give it credence and don't even try to go check nothing out for ourselves. That's why I would re-educate myself and learn, man, how's this real money made? I'm not listening to these cats because they lying to me. All right. They lying to me. They lying. They telling me stuff. My life ain't going to end up good listening to this stuff. This is dangerous information they giving me. All right. They ain't really I ain't got my back. Are you listening to me? A person can't have your back when they ignorant. I don't care how nice they are and how good their intentions are and all that sort of a thing is either. The bottom line is that they lying to you. They telling you stuff that just absolutely positively ain't true. Are you dig what I'm saying? So here's Ahab and Jehoshaphat. Jehoshaphat is like, I'm not going for the system and with the system. I'm not going with the crowd, what the crowd is talking about. He like, I don't care how many of them. This is 400 dudes. You would think 400 people tell you something, you would think it's got to be true. They just lying louder. That's all. Let me tell you something about liars. Just because they raise their voice don't mean nothing. Just mean you're just lying louder. All right. It's still a lie. And so here's Jehoshaphat. He's like, I ain't G'ing for that. He said, man, there's got to be somebody around here with some sense. So watch what Ahab says. Listen to this. Ahab says, man, he says, then the king, he said, and the king of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, he said, yeah, there is one man. All right. He said, Micaiah, he said, the son of Imlah, by whom we may inquire of the Lord. He said, but I hate him. He said, for he does not prophesy good concerning me, but evil. And Jehoshaphat said, let not the king say so. So he said, oh, let's listen. He said, call that brother up. All right. So this is the problem when you are deceptive. And this is the problem is when you want to receive deception. You get mad when somebody come in and try to and pour a monkey wrench on your program. You're like, you know what, man, you're not saying what I want to hear. All right. What we really ought to be concerned about is the person saying what we need to hear, not what we want to hear. Why? Because you should get mad at the person when they come up to you and they tell you some lies that's going to end up getting you killed. That's when you should be angry. When they tell you some lies that's going to end up having you broke, that's when you should get angry. When they tell you some lies that's going to end up having you sick, that's when you should get angry. When they tell you some lies that's going to get you behind the 8 ball and have you tricking off, that's what ought to make you mad. Not when the person comes up and tell you what you ain't used to and what you don't want to hear and what would have to alter your behavior. Adjusting and altering our behavior is an everyday thing. So we always want somebody in our corner who will come up and say, just give it to us in a raw, just drop it like it's hot. That's the way my man Micaiah is. He ain't like these other cats. It's 400 of them talking. And then Ahab says to his boy, he said, yeah, it's a guy here who be hearing straight from God, but I hate him. How much sense does that make? I just want y'all to just think about that for a second. Here's a cat who be hearing straight from God. He say from God. He admits it himself. Is this Negro bipolar or what? He say, this dude hears from God, but I want to hear what he got to say. So what is that saying? I don't want to hear what God got to say. Why? Because I know God gonna tell the truth. And I know, and Ahab like, I'm so rotten. If he tell me what God really gonna happen, then I'm a cooked goose because I don't follow God. So I already know God want to pimp slap me because God ain't important to me. His priorities not important to me, and I ain't down with what he down with. So if you come in and tell me what God said, you definitely ain't gonna tell me what I want to hear. This is what Ahab is saying, and he admitted it. He telling the man, look, I'm hit like a 60-mile-an-hour fastball. If this dude come talk, he gonna pronounce some woe on me. I hate this dude. And what my man Jehoshaphat said, man, he said, man, bring it on. He said, man, he said, stop talking crazy, man. He said, bring that brother over here. I want to hear nothing these dudes over here saying. I got a question for you. Do you have the spirit of Jehoshaphat? Are you that kind of person today? When people come around you and they start talking slick and talking crazy and they stuff don't add up to the Bible, do you just look them in the eye and say, man, I ain't trying to hear that. All right. I am not trying to hear that. I don't care what you're talking about. I don't care if you hate me. I don't care what. We just be at odds with one another. It is what it is. All right. Why? I ain't trying to win your favor, partner. I'm trying to live a life that's worth living. And I don't need you coming around here stroking me and all this sort of thing. Move around. So that's the attitude that Jehoshaphat got. And I appreciate his attitude because it's contagious. I still feel his attitude. And he was born 800 years before Christ. And I still feel his attitude. So that means He been dead for 2,800 years, and I still feel in the spirit of Jehoshaphat. Are you digging what I'm saying? What people gonna be saying about you 2,800 years from now? Well, they say that you had some balls and used to stand up to folk. I hope so. He said, and Jehoshaphat said, man, ain't nobody else around that we could talk to? And the king said, yeah, this dude Micah. He said, but I hate him. He said, then the king of Israel called an officer and said, hasten hither Micaiah. He said, the son of Himna. He said, so go get him. He said, and bring him over here fast. He said, and the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, sat each on his throne, having put on their robes in a void place in the entrance of the gate of Samaria, and all the prophets prophesied before them. So let's just talk about where they were. They were sitting in a void place. What does void mean? Void means something that's dark, something that's empty, something that's powerless, something that's directionless. This is why you got to know what? You got to be able to detect the truth when you get ready to make a move. Why? Because you're in the dark. They were sitting in a void place. What's a void check? You write a check and it bounced. You dig? You know, void, you know, you write a check, you put void on the check, then can't nobody cash it. Are you dig what I'm saying? So when you getting ideas from people and you in the dark and they don't give you no instruction, then you write checks that can't nobody cash. Are you listening to me? Insufficient funds. So you're talking about, what do you mean by that, Ricky? I'm talking about your life. My life. My life, we'd be looking at what's going on, man. Why am I coming up short? It's because you're sitting in the dark in a voided place and you're getting advice from some busters. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Are you digging what I'm saying? These dudes are some busters, 400 of them, and they sitting out here lying to this man, telling him they about to go win a fight that he gonna end up getting killed in. And I don't want people around me like that. I mean, I'd much rather have people around me who just look me in the eye and tell me what I need to hear. All right. And and when you operate by faith, you can detect the lie. See, Jehoshaphat is operating by faith. So he know something just ain't right. Oh, we got that Keith Sweat spirit. Like they gonna say Jehoshaphat. He like, man, these cats ain't on nothing. So he said, you know what? Let me hear what my man got to say. So they sit in the void place. They're in the dark, but it's okay. It's okay to be in a dark place. Just make sure that whoever come into your life, that they talking to you from heaven and they ain't talking to you, they ain't talking crazy to you. Make sure the advice is good. So they sit here in the void place with their robes on. They looking good because they got their robes on and stuff, but they still in the dark. Are you listening to me? I don't care how you dress up the outside, but when you're still in the dark, you need to hear a word from God. He says, and Zedekiah, the son of Shemaiah, made him horns of iron. And he said, thus saith the Lord, with these shalt thou push the Syrians until thou have consumed them. He said, and all the prophets prophesied so, saying, go up to Ramoth Gilead, go up and prosper. He said, the Lord's hand shall deliver it into the king's hand. Now, I told you, just because everybody's saying something, don't mean it's got nothing to do with reality. Are you listening to me? And just be, these are some clowns. All right, they might as well be court jesters because they're in front of the throne, cutting up, doing all. He say, man, he made us some horns and stuff. He say, roll on out. He say, just like I'm stabbing these horns out. That's the way you're gonna put out my man's eyes and all that. All this spectacular nonsense. All right, spectacular foolishness. And if you don't know no better, if you ain't operating by faith, that stuff sounds good. Why? Because they're making you look good. They're making you feel good. They pumping your head up. All right. But you got to be able to what? Detect those lies. So what detects lies? Faith does. Why? Because faith, it unravels the clothes of a lie. It undresses the clothes of a lie because you're operating by faith and not by sight. When you're operating by sight, you can't tell if nobody lying to you or not. Why? Because your motives and everything ain't right. When you're operating by sight, it's like everything got to go right for me before I do something. You see, but that's not how life works. The way things really work is that you go do something and then things go right for you. Are you listening to me? That's how faith is. Let me explain it to you. Let me tell you before we finish this story. Let me just read to you from James what the Bible says about faith. He says, even so, if it have not works, is dead, being alone. He says, yea, man, a man that say thou hast faith, he said, I got works. He said, show me thy faith without thy works. He said, and I'll show you my faith by my works. So when I have faith, then I can see what's really going on, and then I can do what I need to do. All right, let me run that by you one more time. If you're having a difficulty right now making moves because you don't know whether it's the right move or not, okay? Let me explain to you what James just got through saying. Most people, that's the way they live. They say, let me see what's going to happen, and then I bust a move. I'm like, that's the craziest stuff I've ever heard in my life. That's like talking about, let me go to an apple tree, okay? And I'm going to taste a few apples. All right, good. Now I'm going to plant the tree. All right. How you going to eat some apples off of a tree that you didn't plant? You know, that ain't the way it works. You go up and you try a couple of apples, and then the tree grows because you ate some fruit off the tree. No, the only reason there's some apples on the tree is because you planted some seeds in the ground and you believed that it was going to grow a tree. And because now you can reap the benefits of an apple tree because your faith made you plant some seeds into the ground. So now you got a tree to eat from. You got people trying to go eat from a tree that they ain't planted no tree, that they ain't planted no fruit from, because why? They believe lies. They think the stuff is going to happen without them doing something. It's the spirit of entitlement, and it is the deepest devil known to man. It's like, you really think something's going to happen with you, with your booty print on the couch, partner? What's your name? 40. Why is that? I'm a 40-year-old rapper. How long you been in the basement, man? 40 years. And I just can't understand how people got grown people living in their crib that don't work. I'm like, get your lazy butt up and get to work, partner. All right. You reap what you sow. You ain't gonna reap what I sow. What the hell? You a pimp, man. You better get up and get to stepping, partner. All right. And this is how faith works. Faith says that I'm gonna do it ahead of time, and then I'm gonna see the result. All right. I'm gonna do it ahead of time, and then faith makes you so calm until you said, I'm gonna do it ahead of time, and then I'm just gonna wait on the results. See, people are waiting on the results, but they ain't done nothing ahead of time. I'm like, no, that's backwards. Okay. That is absolutely positively not going to work. You do the work first. All right. And then your faith is what made you go out and do what? Work before you even can see what was going to happen. Are you listening to me? So you just put the work in ahead of time, and then you reap the benefits of the work later, and you ain't even worried about nothing. Why? Because you did the work. The Bible says the rest of a laboring man is good, whether he eat much or whether he eat little. Why is a laboring man why do he rest so well? Because he tired as hell. Why? Because he been working. So he ain't worried about the outcome of nothing because he too busy getting his rest so he get back up and get back to work. So we don't worry about outcomes. Why? Because we put in the input. We ain't worried about the outcome. All we worried about is the input. That's what faith does. Faith makes you work on what? It makes you work on your input. And then you just wait on the outcome. Why? Because the Bible says one water, another plants, but it's God that does what? Give the increase. That's what faith is. It's like, I expect an increase on this side. So that's why I'm already doing the work on this side. And that way I can detect a lie because my faith can detect a lie. When you won't work, it's because you're operating by sight, and you accept lies because when you don't believe what's true, you believe what's not true. It's just one way or the other. Every time I don't believe a fact, that means that I believe that the fact is not true, which means that I believe a lie. And then I start doing what? I start making the lie my truth. And then I start doing what? I start walking in a lie up under the deception that I'm walking in the truth. Why? Because I made a lie my truth. Okay? A lie can be your truth. It ain't the truth, but it can be your truth. And you say, how's that, Ricky? Because you ain't doing nothing. Because when you believe lies, man, you just get frozen. You just sit still. You can't bust a move. Why? Because you're breaking all of these rules. You're breaking the rule of faith. The rule of faith is that you get your butt up and you get to work, and that you don't worry about the outcome because that's not your job. God's job is to do the increase. It ain't your job to do no increase. It's God's job to do the increase. You just do what? You lay it down. You get to work, you lay it down. You get to work, you lay it down. And then God will tell you, because of your faith, God will let you know who's lying and who's telling the truth. Why? Because you're in motion doing stuff. It's easy to lie to a lazy person. It's easy to lie to an indifferent person. It's easy to lie to a person that operates by sight because that person is delusional. So it's easy to run game on them. Why? Because they just a sucker waiting to be licked. How many licks do it take to get to the Tussie Roll center of a Tussie Pop? One. Suckers it's a sucker born every day. Why? Because they lazy. Lazy people are suckers. It don't take nothing to trick them. All you got to do is say something that'll stroke them and make them feel good. Why? Because they need to feel good to do something. I'm like, Negro, please. That's why people get high. That's why people smoke weed. That's why people get drunk. That's why people do cocaine. Why? They need to do something to make themselves feel good. I'm like, you ungrateful varmint. You ought to feel good because you woke up. You dig what I'm saying? Nobody, God woke you up. He gave you everything you got coming. All right, now it's time to show some gratitude. You ought to feel good just because you got up out the bed. You can move around. And now you got a chance to go do something that's going to be a blessing to somebody. That's what faith is. But sight is gimme gumdrops. Gimme gumdrops. Give me this, give me that, give me this, give me that, give me this, give me that. And then if you don't give it to me, I pout like a little sissy and start running around in corners. I'm like, man, grow up. Woman, grow up. Snap out of it, okay? The world don't owe you. Nobody owe you nothing. All right? Be grateful for everything that you got. Be grateful for every opportunity that you get. And then move by faith to make that thing get better. When I got out the joint, I heard Negroes talking about, hey, man, they ain't give us nothing but $50 in a hotel. Man, we're going to be right back in here in a month, man. They just trying to violate me. I said, man, let me tell you something, you little sissy. Stop talking like that, okay? Stop being so doggone ungrateful, all right? Look at it realistically. Realistically is that you got a room, okay? Compared to the joint, it's Taj Mahal, all right? I don't care how raggedy it is. It's your room, okay? At least you ain't in a cell, sharing no cell with some Negro. So stop all that little belly aching and little sissy stuff. And stop speaking about what you don't want to happen, because now you're going to make it happen. Man, all I got is $50. They're going to come and get me, man. I'm like, yeah, they're going to come and get you. Because you just said what's going to happen to you. Because you ain't operating by faith, you operating by sight. You want somebody to come and do something for you. Man, if they was really treating a brother right, then they would come and do this for me. They would come and do that for me. Somebody else would. Ain't nobody coming to do nothing for you. All right? Snap out of it. All right? And stop sitting around and having little sob parties and little pity parties and stuff. You live in a fantasy world. That's not realistic. Ain't nobody coming to do nothing for you. Now, what happens is that the law of attraction takes place when you got a good attitude and you just start by faith doing stuff without having no idea what the outcome is going to be or how the outcome is going to come about, but you know it's going to be a good outcome. Why? Because that's how you can detect lies. So when people will come to my room talking about, hey, man, you want a little of this weed? I'm like, hell no, I don't want no weed. Why? Because that's a lie. How I know that's a lie? Because my faith told me that's a lie. When the hoes come by the room, I told you why I call it a hotel, because all the hoes are trying to come by and tell me what to do. So when a hoe come by the hotel, you dig what I'm saying? And I'm like, I know you better run your crackhead butt up out of here. Ain't no way in the world I'm going to get back in trouble over you. Move around, okay? And or whatever. Anybody came with anything that was a lie, I just checked that stuff. Why? Because I was operating by faith. I'm like, I don't need to do none of that. All right? My life is already okay. They're like, how is your life already okay? And you got $50 and you homeless. I say, because God owned every house around the whole world. Are you digging what I'm saying? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? So I ain't worried about that. I just went by that joint I used to live in and just paid for somebody's room for a couple of weeks, just to bless them over there, just to remind myself where God had brought me from. Are you digging what I'm saying? And He'll do the same thing for you. God ain't no respect of persons. You just got to operate by what? By faith and not sight, because faith is a lie detector. It tell you everybody that's lying, trying to be nickel slick, rolling up on you, because you ain't desperate for nothing. Why? Because you're gonna get out and do your own work. When you know you're gonna do your own work, you ain't never desperate. You don't want nobody to give you nothing. You're just ready to get to work. So because I was willing to go to work, and because I was willing to put my work in, people just wanted to help me. All right? It wasn't because I was asking, they just wanted to help. And if I needed some help and there was nothing I could do, I would ask. But I would ask not with the expectation that they owed me anything. That's how I ended up living in the brother's crib. I ain't even know. And then he wouldn't even take no money from me. Like, your money ain't no good, bro. Are you telling me? I be taking that brother to dinner now, dropping him off G's at dinner. I'm like, man, just God bless you, man. I'm gonna take you out. I'm gonna treat you for the rest of your life. The way you treated me when I was broke and didn't have nothing, man. I love you, Doc. His name's Jerome. Cold brother, good man. I ain't know him from Adam. You dig? Let me live at this joint. This is what happened when you operate by faith and not by sight. Now you listen to me. I ain't talking about something I heard. I'm talking about my life. And I'm telling you the same thing can apply to you, because he ain't no respect of persons. He treat every single human being the same way. It's totally up to us what happened to us. Are you digging what I'm saying? So here's Jehoshaphat. He said, man, I'm operating by faith. I'm not operating by sight. I see 400 people over here. He said, but I can see them lying devils inside of them too. He said, I can see this court gesture party they having right here while we sitting over here in this dark place, but I ain't gonna let this dark place affect my judgment. Now you dig what I'm saying? You say I'm in a dark place right now, Ricky, so everybody come by me, I G for what they saying. Well, you G for what they saying because you're not operating by faith. But who cares about what the fact that you're in a dark place? What, it ain't gonna be the last time you're gonna be in a dark place. All right. If we're in a dark place right now, if you're in a dark place, It is what it is. If you want the lights to come on, just operate by faith and work while you're in a dark place. All right. Don't wait until everything gets better and start working, because that's not how it works. You work and then everything gets better. You don't wait till everything gets better, then you start working. You work right now and then everything gets better. Are you listening to me? Let's get back to the story. So my man say he gets up and he do this clown show, and they showing off and all this sort of thing, trying to get these brothers killed. All right, because if they listen to these clowns, they're gonna end up dying. Jehoshaphat, at least, because Ahab, his days is numbered. You dig? He said, and the messenger, and so he told him to go up, they're gonna prosper, lying. He said, and the messenger that was going to call Micaiah spake unto him, saying, behold, now the words of the prophets declare good unto the king with one mouth. Let thy word, I pray thee, be like the word of one of them, and speak that which is good. In other words, he said, hey, bro, we having a lying party over here, and we want to put a party hat on you, and you come over here and you lie with us. Are you dig what I'm saying? You lie with us. You lie with us. You lie with us. You know what that means? To lie with somebody means you got to do what? Lay down with lies. Are you listening to me? Come lie with us. They told him, hey, bro, come lay down with these lies. And what? Come lie with us. And they trying to intimidate the man. They're trying to get the man to come say what they saying. Let me ask you a question. Are you going to ever live your life where you are talking the exact opposite from the crowd? Are you going to ever live your life where you're going to take a stand and tell everybody, man, I don't care what y'all talking about? All right, because you ain't talking about nothing. You ain't talking about God, and you're talking about this Bible. You ain't got no real answers for nothing. You're perpetrating fraud. Nobody's trying to hear what you're talking about. All right, because we got real issues over here and real problems, and we got to deal with this stuff. You dig what I'm saying? So I don't need your little poop butt fake answers and stuff, because you're lying to me. I don't need you stroking me. And y'all need to stop being strokeable. And this is what man Jehoshaphat, he like, man, these dudes are some clowns. I ain't GM for this. He said, go get the man of God. So they went to get Micah. But check it out. They trying to dress Micah up in lies before he can even come. Micah come over there. He about to give it to him raw. And they trying to tell him what to say. We in the same era today where people are trying to violate your right to free speech. They try to tell you what to say. They try to make you into a liar. They try to make you agree with what it is that they going on with. And they try to intimidate you and tell you that you better do it, or off with your head, or off with your job, or, just like when COVID came out. And they going to tell you got to have a shot. And like, well, I ain't taking no shot. They're like, well, we're going to fire you. Okay, well, fire me then. All right? Because you're not going to make me do nothing against my will. Who the hell you think you are? You Jesus or something? What kind of nonsense is that? You're going to come into a person and violate their rights and then tell them that they have to take a shot. Hell no, I ain't taking no shot unless I want to. Now, if y'all took it because you wanted to, that's your business. But if y'all took it because somebody made you, then you're just a punk. Then you got to start telling people, I'm not paying for that. You're not going to be ruining my life and just telling me what to do. I'm not going to be sick. I ain't even sick. And then I'm going to come and take a shot and get sick because you gave it to me, because you're talking lying to me, telling me that this stuff been proven and that stuff been proven. You're lying. You don't know nothing about what's been proven. Stuff ain't even been out long enough to be proven nothing. All right. So I ain't never let them shoot me. I said, it'd be a cold day in hell before you shoot me. I ain't no dope fiend. You can be putting nothing in my arm. Hell no. I wasn't going for that. And if I was y'all, I get some hell no up in me when people start lying to you and telling you. I had a lady who was even talking to me when it first happened, panicking like I don't know what. She said, everybody just needs to cooperate. I'm like, we don't need to cooperate with the state. All right. No, we don't. All right. You need to uncooperate with people trying to tell you what to do. Don't you understand that that's your constitutional rights? Just gonna let somebody come in and violate your right and tell you what to do and gangster you and pimp slap you around, and just because a bunch of people saying it, and just because a bunch of people talking loud, they just lying louder. Don't make it true what they're saying. They're just trying to intimidate you, and they come over here to talk to Micaiah and trying to tell him what to say. It'd be a cold day in hell before somebody tell me what to say. It'd be a cold day in hell before somebody tell me what to say. That ain't gonna never happen. If I was you, I'd take a stand. You dig what I'm saying? Because I'm not going to sit here and let you lie to me, and just because you think you can give me something. Listen, if I can be homeless and become a multimillionaire and ain't kiss nobody's butt nowhere along the way, so can you. So can you. Which means that you're going to have some run-ins with some people and tell them hell no. All right? And just let them know we don't like each other. Okay? We ain't on the same page. It is what it is. I ain't gonna lose a wink of sleep over you or what you think about me. That's the attitude you're gonna have to take if you're gonna make it into this millionaire's journey, because you ain't going no place sitting around here scratching where you don't itch and laughing where you ain't tickled. How you dig what I'm saying? You better get the spirit of Jehoshaphat. All right. Jeho so fat. Jeho is so fat over here. What? Fat with faith, baby. Jeho. So fat with faith. Come on. What Jeho tell him? He said, hey man, go get Micah. So Micah show up. Micah said, man, as the Lord liveth, he said, and whatever the Lord had said unto me, he said, that's what I'm going to speak. He said, so he came to the king, and the king said unto him, Micaiah, shall we go up against Ramoth Gilead, or shall we forbear? And he answered and said, man, go ahead on and prosper, for the Lord shall deliver it into the hand of the king. And the king said, man, how many times shall I adjure thee that thou tell me nothing but that which is true in the name of the Lord? He said, see, because Ahab, let me tell you something about people. People fake like they dumb and slow, and knowing that you're out of order. You dig? Just out of order with God. And we know when we're out of order with God. All of us do. You know it, and I know it too. It's something inside of you that just tells you, you dig, this is wrong. I'm out of order with God. So somebody come along and they want to help you. So they want to help you. So they're about to tell you, hey, you're out of order with God. So we get mad at the person instead of being mad at ourselves for being out of order with God. We get offended by the person and tell the person that, hey, man, you judgmental. You need to stop judging me. Instead of being mad at the underachieving life that we have, at the mediocre life that we have, at the justifying life that we have, at the lazy life that we live in, at the mediocre way that we going about doing things, or just the outright scandalous way that we going about doing things. We act like can't nobody approach us about nothing. You dig? And the minute you do, I'm mad at you. I have people who would say something like, hey, man, I can't get no appointment with you, Brother Rick. I said, it's $40,000 an hour for an appointment. They're like, that's too much money. I say, who tells me how much I can charge for an appointment? That's too much money. You're right. That's too much money for you. So I ain't got to be bothered with you. Good. So you just eliminated yourself. I say, now what you can do is you can come to the challenge and you can learn what we do. They say, but you need to change the way that you do things, Rick. I say, no, you need to change the way you do things. All right. Because I do things based on what made me a millionaire. And whatever somebody told me what the price was for whatever it was I had to pay for, I ain't never had the audacity to tell them how to run their company. I just said, I'm going to get the money and I'll do it, because I know if I get this money to work with you, then I'm going to be able to move up to a whole nother level. So I stopped even focusing on what the price was. And I started focusing on what I was going to make if I did what they told me to do. So I made sure that I paid attention to what the person was teaching me, and I got my mind off my little petty money. Now, you listen to me when I met my man Myron Golden, I gave him $55,000 to start his program, and then when he told me he had a new program out, for VIP day, he told me it was $350,000. I said, cool. I was writing a check before I could even think about it. Why? Because I was thinking about the 3.5 million, the 35 million that I can make from hanging out with somebody so brilliant. I wasn't thinking about 350,000 little measly dollars. That ain't no generational money. Ain't nobody finna do nothing with that. Ain't nothing but a house. You can buy a house for that. All right. I was thinking about, man, on the other end over here, it's gonna be on and cracking. All right. Why? Because I can detect lies, because I operate by faith. When I put my money up, I'm like, man, I'm good for that money. I believe in myself. I'm gonna make that money back 10 times, 100 times, no doubt. All right. So it wasn't even nothing to think about. Why? Because I operate by faith. I don't operate by sight. So if anybody came around me, first of all, ain't nobody dumb enough to be trying to talk me out of nothing I'm going to do. So nobody even waste their breath on me, because they already know better. How about you? You get ready to make a move. Everybody know you a little sucker. Everybody know you a little poo butt. Everybody know you scary. Everybody know you wavering all the time. And you get ready to bust a move, and everybody get in your ear and try to tell you what you ought to say. That means that you got some problems, because people shouldn't even be approaching you like that. They ought to know better. They ought to know better. They ought to know better from last time. Last time they came at you, they should have known better. You should have chin checked them and let them know you ain't got nothing to do with what I'm doing. All right. You over here in a little broke corner. You ain't even interested in your future. All right. If you ain't interested in your future, I know you ain't interested in mine. So you might as well save your breath, player. All right. Because you're wasting your doggone time. So they come over here and they trying to tell this man what to say. So he said, go ahead, man, go on up. So Ahab so low down until he like, man, I know you ain't telling me the truth. He said, man, come on, out with it, player. Come on, out with it. He said, I'm going to get my head cracked. Come on, man, just be legit. All right, so what happened? What my man tell him? All right, we're in 1 Kings, the 22nd chapter. This is what Micaiah said. He said, all right. He said, this is what I saw. He said, this is what's really about to happen to you. He said, I saw all Israel scattered upon the hills as sheep that have not a shepherd. And the Lord said, these have no master. Let them return every man to his house in peace. And the king of Israel said unto Jehoshaphat, did not I tell you that he would prophesy no good concerning me, but evil? He said, hear thou therefore the word of the Lord. He said, let me break down to you God's strategy to make sure you don't come back from this war alive. Brother, you about to eat the dust. He said, let me tell you how God hooked this thing up. He said, I saw the Lord sitting on his throne, and all the host of heaven standing by him on his right hand and on his left side, and on his left. He said, the Lord said, who shall persuade Ahab that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? And one said in this manner, and another one said in that manner. All right, hold on for a second. I just want all y'all to know. Listen to me good. Listen to me good. Some people are planning while other people are plotting. So I just want to talk to all of y'all devils that's plotting on people. Got people trying to bring about somebody's demise. I want you to understand something. There's a meeting going on in heaven about you right now. Oh, yeah. God, he's sitting up there talking about you right now, about how he's going to crack your head down to the white meat. Oh, yes, he is, because God ain't no respected person. He get everybody what they got coming. So all of y'all who's sitting around here trying to bring about somebody's demise, plotting, sitting up trying, got a little sneaky ideas and manipulative things because you're a hater, don't want to do your work, don't want to put your work in. You operating by sight, you're not operating by faith. You dig? So you got it out for people. You mean-spirited and all that kind of stuff. I want you to know that there's a meeting going on in heaven about you right now. And God is just picking the spirits that he's going to use to pimp slap your butt back to Africa. I just want you to understand that. Okay, while you're sitting around here thinking that you're going to get a ride, you just ain't got caught up with yet. But keep dogging folk. Keep dogging people. Keep mistreating folk. Keep thinking that you're a gangster and all that kind of stuff. Keep thinking that your shenanigans that is going to keep riding. All right? So they up there having a meeting about Ahab. And one of the spirits said, hey, I can do this. I got some game like God. Like, no, that ain't cool enough. Then another spirit said, I do this. And then God like, no, I ain't feeling you either. You know, but check out this next spirit that came up, because God was like, ting, 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 ting. You're the lucky winner right here. I'm about to send you down to carry out some work. He said, so this next spirit walked up and said, then a spirit came forth in front of God and stood before God and said, I'll persuade him. And the Lord said unto him, wherewith? And he said, I will go forth and I'll be a lion spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. And he said, thou shalt persuade him and prevail also. Go forth and do so. So Micaiah said, man, all these marks over here, God put that lion spirit in them. He said, but Zedekiah, the son of Shemaiah, went near and pimp slapped Micaiah on the cheek and said, which way went the Lord, spirit of the Lord, from me to speak unto thee? So let me just tell y'all something. All y'all, just brace yourself, okay? We in a fickle, crazy age right now. If you start talking about what's right, you're going to stand out like a sore thumb. All right. If you want to be popular with the world in this era that we in, all that sort of thing, then just be a little punk and say what everybody else is saying. Just go along with what everybody else is doing, you dig, and go ahead on and just let God deal with you later. All right. Because you're going to get dealt with the world, or you're going to get dealt with God. I'd rather get dealt with God, and the world, they can go ahead on about it. I don't need nobody's to love me and all that kind of stuff. You dig what I'm saying? Don't make me no never mind, because I'm like Micaiah. I love my man. Now, you're going to get pimp slapped sometime. Oh, yes, you are. Oh, yes, you are. I've been getting pimp slapped ever since I got saved. I done got folks that rolled up on me. When I say pimp slap, ain't nobody physically slapped me, but I done got pimp slapped, spiritually speaking, by people who just know I ain't going to retaliate. They just know it. Why? Because I'm a child of God. I'm a man of God now, and I don't get out. Ain't no street stuff going on no more. So, you can get away with talking about me. You can get away with being smart. You can get away with your lip service. You can get away with, trying to dog me. You can get away with it, and the people know it. The people around me, they know that. So they walk up to the man because they know he ain't going to fight back. So they walk up to him and bam, pimp slammed him. Say, man, tell me where that came from, player. Why you got all these messages from God, you hearing from God and all that sort of thing, who just pimp slapped the taste out your mouth, Can you see him? He brought the baby powder out, all 5 fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, bam, and pimp slapped the preacher. How you gonna pimp slap the preacher? Lord have mercy. Pimp slap the preacher. I hope you ain't pimp slapping the preacher today. All right, so he pimp slapped the taste out Micaiah's mouth. He said, and Micaiah said to him, he said, behold, Thou shalt see in that day when thou shalt go into an inner chamber to hide thyself. So he said, okay, man. He said, you slapped me. You got away with that. He said, but you know what? You about to go into the witness protection program. He said, you about to go into the witness protection program. Talking crazy over here, pimp slapping your boy. He said, you know, God got something for you. I ain't going to even worry about it. So my man Ahab got mad. He said, man, lock that trick up. He said, and feed him with the bread of affliction and the water of affliction till I come back in peace. My man Micaiah say, man, if you come back in peace at all, the Lord ain't spoken through me. So they go out to the war. They get out in the middle of the war and they starting to fight. So Ahab, he's a punk. All right. He did all this tough talking and all this sort of thing, but he know he a cooked goose. So he get out here in the middle of the war and he tells Jehoshaphat, he say, man, let's change clothes. All right. So that they'll think you me. So Jehoshaphat, I don't know what's wrong with him, but he G'd for it. I can't wait to get to heaven to talk to him about this here. I'm like, what was on your mind, dog? So he went ahead on and put on Ahab's clothes. So they started chasing him, the Syrians, because the king told them, man, don't even worry about all the little dudes. Let's just catch up with the king of Israel and let's give him the business. So they thinking that Jehoshaphat, the king of Israel. So they started chasing him. But Jehoshaphat cried out, mistaken identity, mistaken identity, mistaken identity. It ain't me, it ain't me. I just got his robe on, player. I was tripping. Don't give me the business. So they're like, oh, man, that's the wrong dude, man. Don't mess around with him. So then one of them saw the king of Israel and just shot an arrow. Boom! Hit him in the chest. Bam! Took him upstairs and put him in his chariot. And then a little later on, he died. Why? Because he died just like Micaiah told him he was going to die. Why? Because he told him what? The truth. Why? Because the man could not detect a lie. He listened to all his boys. Now, this dude know that he was getting ready to go down. He know it. He know he was getting ready to go down. He know he wasn't right. You did. But he just wanted to listen to the strokers anyway. So today, my prayer for all of us, not just you, me, all of us, is that we would become what? Lie detectors. Why? By exercising our faith. That's all we got to do. If we'll walk by faith and not by sight, we'll just run over the devil, him and all his little lion imps, and everybody come around with us trying to scare us out of our destiny and trying to stroke us in leaving this earth early, aborting our ideas, aborting our businesses, aborting our families, aborting our great visions that we have, that those things won't come to pass. Why? Because those liars come in and scare the hell out you, and then you can't do nothing because you're stuck like Chuck in a pickup truck, frozen in time. You dig what I'm saying? Because you believe what? A lie. So you don't have to believe that. You can detect lies. All you got to do is get in motion and start working. That's all. That's all you got to do. And then when people bring you stuff trying to slow you down, impede your progress, scare you, intimidate you, and all that sort of a thing, they won't have no effect on you. Why? Because you're too busy making it happen. Make it happen, baby. All right. Get your umbrella out, and make it rain. Come on, let's pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, I thank you for these amazing brothers and sisters, these amazing kings and queens, Lord. And today, as we walk out, we're walking out with power. And when somebody bring us some drama that definitely don't line up with your word, we're going to check them and let them know, hey, loose here and move on with that foolishness. All right. Because you ain't got nothing, no part, no lot in this matter. We too busy working. We're doing a great work and we cannot come down. So, Lord, I want to thank you for giving us the moxie to do so, the love for each other to do so, the love for your word to do so, the love for you to do so, which is sprinkled down on us and made us want to really, really, really help each other at the highest levels. And we shall serve to the day we drop dead. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. God bless you all. Have a beautiful day. It's been a plum, pleasing pleasure, as well as a privilege. I love you all. Ain't nothing y'all can do about that. And remember that stellar is as stellar does. Take your faith with you today so that you can detect those lies. Have a beautiful day. God bless you. Have a phenomenal day. God bless you. Have a phenomenal day. God bless you. God bless you too, Dr. Lynch. God bless you. God bless you.